Scrapping in my own private Idaho, and today I am doing a hybrid title. I'm calling it a hybrid title. I'm also calling this Title Tuesday, and we know it's not, but I Title Tuesday maybe sounds a little funny. I like the alliteration of Title Tuesday, and I do try to get a title once a week out, so that's kind of where I'm going with that one. So I'm doing a hybrid title today, and I am using the large title from letters from Stampin' Up, and I'm also using a Cricut file. And I just wanted to show that if you don't have a Cricut, or if you want to use other things in your titles, you can combine things. It's okay. So what I'm doing with this is I created this, and so this is on the Cricut file that I'm sharing today. So in the comments below, in the description below, there'll be a Cricut file, and it cuts out this. And my title's going to be typical and family pictures. And so, and I am using Dana's Swadling sketch. So let me show you her sketch first. So each month, the people on her team, she gives them a challenge. Can I find it? Of course not. She gives us a challenge each month to do a layout, and that's what I'm working on today. And of course I can't find it because that's how it is, and I've already filmed this once, so I might just pop it in. If you go over to my Facebook page, Joy Ani Scrapping in My Own Private Idaho, I will have a picture of her sketch. But just note that the sketch is coming from her. I like it. She used much smaller pictures, but now that I have the ability to print large pictures, I often do, because I think it gives us a little variation. So let's go ahead and get started on the title. So I have, I call this a stew layout because I am just kind of throwing a lot of things together to make it work. So how I started off with is I started off with the gathering together paper pack, and I loved the fall colors, and I am a sucker for any kind of leaf stamp, and so I started off with that. But when I was putting it together, my friend walked by and said, you know, there's a lot of blue in this layout. And so I had a little bit left of a paper pumpkin, and so this is from the paper pumpkin, and so I went ahead and used that because it has the blue, and I'm going to throw this blue leaf in here to kind of pull it all together, because I would agree there is a lot of blue in here. So let's go ahead and start layering our title. So you can, when you're creating a title, it can be just Cricut, it can just be a die, or it can be a combination of all the things above. And since this page is the one that I'm going to use that has the title, I'm going to set all my stuff aside, and hopefully that sketch is going to show up any moment. And I'm going to go ahead and lay that. So I'm kind of having it off at an angle. I will show you what I did on this page. So this is actually, I've used two different paper pumpkin packs because I buy them, but I'm not a card maker, so I use the stuff out of their guts and use those. So this is from September, October's paper pumpkin, and it had a frame in here, and so I wanted to create the frame that is on this picture and use it on my my layout. And I will tell you that I am not a perfectionist, and doodling, it just kind of, I had a lot of space, especially on that right hand side, and so it just worked for me. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and I will layer up my letters. You'll notice that this has two layers. That is not how they come, and I'm going to show you what I did to create this. So when I put the letters straight on my background, first of all, it was a white background, and then I decided to sponge it. If I had it to do over again, if I hadn't glued everything down, because I added the sponging later, I would not put this bunching on here, or if I did, I'd do a different color. I'm not really happy with that, but you can only spend a week or so on a layout before you give up and just go with what you have. So what I did, and the letters that I use, these large letters that I used, it was funny when they first came out. I love letters, and I thought, well, this will be great for posters. But I have actually, even though they are they're over 2 inches. They're between 2¼ inches and 2½ inches. I thought at first, oh, I'm not going to use them very much, but I use them all the time. So this one, it needed, and I had gutted my paper, and so I had the middle of it. So I just stuck them on here, and I am just going to, of course, in Cricut, the reason I use Cricut a lot of times is it is so much faster than dies. If you're making a layout for a bunch of people, I like to use Cricut because you can just set it down and it does the thing. And I do have the title that I'm making for this week. It will be next Tuesday, which is just in a couple days actually. And I am going to use Cricut for that title. Okay, so the first thing I do is I make sure that my letters fit. So I put on here typical, T-I-P-I. Make sure you spell it correctly. I'm missing my I. Well, I know it's on here. Oh, there it is. Typical. So when I saw these pictures, I knew that this was the title I was going to use, because my grandson was in a wedding, and he's 2. He's a very large 2, but anytime you put a 2-year-old, and his cousin's 3, so they had quite a lot of fun. And then I'm going to put this. This is a Cricut cut, and I liked how it went across there. So that's large. You could pop them up, but I'm not going to pop them up. I'm going to talk a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and just put these down, and I'm going to, oops, see it, I forgot my layer. Forget my head if it weren't on. Okay, and the reason I use these, so this is from the October paper pumpkin. So I just basically use the ephemera. I thought about using this because it actually matches really well, and I don't know, I might stick it on there. You guys can tell me, yes, that looks great, or at some point you have to walk away from the page. And I had all these leftover extras, and I think sometimes I'm not great at clustering, but if I just kind of throw a bunch of stuff down and then set it off the side while I'm working, sometimes I come up with a better plan. So I wanted to bring up the yellow in these leaves because it was, I really think for weddings, I honestly think that the prettiest weddings are in the fall. I believe my mom got, of course their wedding was not super big. Okay, there we go. I'm going to put this right here. I don't want it to be crooked. And I'm very light-handed, and a lot of times I don't spend a lot of time gluing things down, because you can see that I get kind of carried away. So anyway, on this layout, it is strips, and in fact, if I will lift it up so that you can see that T's not in the right place. I'm going to put these other letters on, and then I will tend to my T. So I cut these letters out on the die cut on the plain paper. So this is the back side of one of the papers for the Gathering Together paper pack. Some of them have, you can see some of them are kind of shiny. But how I store all my paper now, I used to store it alphabetically when I was with Close to My Heart. But Stampin' Up, the titles of their paper pack, for whatever reason, I cannot. They're usually like floral design, or they're very close. Like their titles are very close, and they usually have something like floral. I can't remember things that way. I had to have like a name, like so it doesn't help me remember, because I did it alphabetically because that's how I could remember. But so now what I do is so all of my fall Stampin' Up! Papers are in a bucket together. And so when I go to use them, I just throw them all down. Okay, so you can see Dana's layout. You can see that she has strips. This would be great for any kind of scraps if you have, and this actually is the card base. So you can see you don't have to have 12 by 12. I did add in her sketch, she has two little things here, and what I did was I did this. I could, if I find small pictures, I don't know. If I find small pictures, I can leave this open, but I'm going to go ahead and just set this one down, and then I will go to the next page and talk a little bit about that, because I did do an interactive thing on that. So I'm going to put these here. So how I do my tags is, this is just, I keep all my tag die cuts together. They might have come with in a suite or whatever, but if they're a tag, they go in their own special place. And to be quite honest, I don't remember where these tags came from. And if you don't have your tags, you can simply make your own. For the hole punch, just cut off your edges with a hole punch. I think I have shown that before. So now I'm going to go ahead and do this right here like this. And I want them kind of at an angle, because it's kind of whimsical. But anyway, you're always nervous. I actually did not, I intended on going to this wedding, but I was not feeling well the day that it happened. So I didn't get to see him be the ring bearer, but I did pray for him, because I always, when you give a 2-year-old, they actually did not give the 2-year-old a ring, because the bride is actually, she teaches kindergarten. She knows better than to give a 2-year-old a ring and have him march down the aisle. I think he was bribed with candy or something along that line, and he had an older cousin, but, well, she wasn't that much older, she was 3. So anyways, that's this layout, and you can see it's kind of a striped one. I did the freehand doodling, and I did some sponging. Oh, and here is my hybrid. So you can take a simple letter. So this is actually an easy title. And how I found my font was, I follow a lady named Anthony, and she does a lot of layouts, and I look on the fonts that she uses. If I find a font from a person, and I will find that font, and then I'll use it, because I needed a cursive type font to go with this. Typical family picture. And I should have put this on an S, but I'm not going to redo this thing again. I have worked on this layout for quite some time. So there's that. So there's that layout. And I'm thinking, here we go with this. Do you think I should add this to that? And I could have a little, I was trying to put some blue. I think that's a little, I don't know. I like the fact that it introduces the blue there. Leave it in the comments. Yes to the circle, no to the circle. Okay, then we're doing this side. So I have a couple tricks for interactive as well on this one. And this layout, I did love this layout, because she had a small one, but I love how it was big. So what I did with this is a picture frame from, the paper pumpkin. I made a tag, and I hand cut this one. So this one was one of my dies, but this one I simply cut off. I wanted a lot because I knew I was going to write a lot. I'm putting it up towards the top because I'm going to show you something. So a lot of people cut their, they will cut their page protectors. Here's a hint. If you put it up towards the top, you don't need to cut the page protector. All you have to do is, I'm setting it up here like this, and I've used the foam tape, so this little pocket is not going, it's not going to fall down to the bottom of the page. It's going to stay put, So I'm going to put this one right here, and I put this at the top. Then when someone wants to read it, I'm not going to push it all the way down. Then when someone wants to read the journaling, you simply put your hand in. I'm going to show you a page protector really quick and show you that this is doable. And if you want to slice your page protector, I mean, they are designed that you can do that, but I will add that in just a second. I want to show you that you really can reach these. Oops! And now you're going to see the cute little guy, and you can see how he's not really cooperating with the pictures. So if I have this like here, I can get to my journaling. I can pull this out. And in that same way, you can put pictures on the back, or journaling a lot of times is if it's something that you don't want the whole world to see. I will put it in a secret pocket like that. Okay, so let's get back to this. This is also a part from the. It's from the paper pumpkin, and it kind of gets lost if you don't pop it up. So what I'm going to do with this, I don't really want to, well, I'm just going to tear it. I'll use these are my okay to use scissors, I think. And I'm just going to put this over here, and if you don't pop out this tree, you can barely see that it's there. So that's my thinking. So I'm going to put it right there. And right there, and I'm going to put this cute little fox, that's going to go right like that, and then we've got this fox, which kind of reminds me of my grandson who's trying to escape pictures. He's not a big one on pictures, so that's why he's hiding. If I had as much energy as he does, I would get so much done. Okay. And that one goes right there. So that is my layout. So thank you, Dana, for presenting this. Oh, and actually, I forgot to. I will put 3 little banners right here. I may put banners up there. I may not, because it's kind of bare. But I did with the doodling, and I might add a few more little gems somewhere. Anyway, but that is my layout for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you will like and subscribe, and remember, if you this is a die cut, and I have included the directions, or I have included the cricut file for picture and families, and I need to move this family down because it's not straight. Anyway, I'll do that after I'm done videotaping. Talk to you later. Thanks so much for watching. Catch you next Tuesday. I do have another one, another title that will be coming up, and we'll talk about that when I get it done. Thank you so much. Bye.